2025. You and Washington Garcia started this festival in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Could you think back 15 years ago, 16 years ago, when you were planning the first festival, the first ideas that first gave rise to this enterprise? What was on your mind? What did you want to accomplish? What did you hope to achieve?
Well, let's go way back to not even 2010, but 2008 or 2008. The thought is, we thought we were at a gold mine location. We're right between Austin and San Antonio. When I got there, the school was always considered to be a little brother to UT. But I thought our location was good, and I thought the school had tremendous potential, so we needed exposure. So there was the idea of trying to start a piano festival. We never imagined it to be this big. You know, that first year we had 18 students, and our budget was very, very modest. We have 5 faculty members, and it was a good festival. It felt like we did something pretty special. Next year it got a little bit better, 2011. The year after that it got a little bit better. When we got to the 4th festival, this is the one that really took off on us. The reason for that is I received this email from the provost of Texas State saying, Texas State Team Award. So the concept is, if there's 3 or more people, then the provost office throws you a party and recognizes you for being a good team. If it's 2 or less, the provost will have lunch with you. So I went up to Washington and said, this is our ticket. He goes, what do you mean by that? I said, we're gonna get this award, and when we have this meeting with the provost, I'm gonna throw him the idea of hosting from the top at our festival, so which is gonna just jump it to a whole new level. The whole project would have been, just itself would have been around $38,000. So the provost provided us with $10,000 after we got that award, and we fundraised the rest, and we realized that we're in a different place. So from there on now, we took on the challenge of every year, we want to make this different. We don't want to be like everybody else. We want to make this, you know, a destination because it is different. So that following year, we hired, back then known as the Round Rock Symphony, because that's when our Performing Arts Center opened. The following year after that, we hosted our first competition called the Texas State International Piano Competition. The year after that, we had the Betty Dickinson competition, where the winner receives a full CD recording session with Centaur. After that, we had the Patrick Price competition, which meant they had a 5-city tour. The year after that, we had the Ben Gomez competition, where the winner had 3 orchestra engagements. Then we got to our 10th, which we celebrated with bringing back the From the Top, and we had the faculty play double concerti for the opening night. So it was something, everything, and it kept growing more and more. I firmly believe in the concept of, you know, be careful what you wish for, because it's just grown up so big. So that 10th year we celebrated, then after that we sort of rehashed all the competitions that we've done with different prizes, but really nice. We recently had a student have 3-city tour in China for winning a competition. We had another one who earned the title of Steinway Young Artist. And because this is the 15th year, this is the crazy one that we came with. Let's have our festival at a different campus. So our modest beginning, $18,000 budget in the first one. This one, I think we're about to cross over the $170,000 mark for the budget. But it's been very rewarding. Lots of hard work, but very rewarding.
So thinking back to when you were a youngster, I'm sure you had some festival experiences that were really meaningful to you and that you carried forward. So I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. What were some of the experiences that you might have had as a young artist that went into the inspiration for Texas State International Piano Festival when you first started it? What were some of those?
Excellent question. I can tell you the things that I remember the most about my experiences as a young artist, pre-college. You know, I've been to all the fun places. The one that I remember the most is Tanglewood, where I got to meet some incredible friends and build a piano community. That continued when I was in college. I know the values that I get from my teachers and the practice sessions and everything I learned in the classroom are very important, but I found equally important to have a good group of friends and supporters around me. That's a big thing over here. I can tell you, we pay a lot of attention, and we really appreciate our staff or the dorm team or everybody else, because they're the ones who are really responsible for making everybody, students, connect with each other. And that might be the most important thing about this. The faculty, the same thing. I've always said our faculty are incredible, world-class people, and they can all teach, they can all play, they can all do everything. But besides that, we all like each other. And that's a big criteria on us choosing a faculty. You will not be hired just because of your name. It's got to be your name and your personality. So that's an inspiration, making sure that the piano community is really, really strong. Another one is the least popular award that we give out to students are the cash awards. You know, that just doesn't mean that much. The most popular ones are the things that really build up on their resumes. You know, like recording a CD, you know, like having 5 city tours, having international performances. More than that, we also have regular concert series that we partnered up with, where we award a student a prize like that. So our students come out on top. Now, the fact that we're in our 15th year, we have now many former students that are now higher ed faculty members around the world. And they're still connected to a lot of people from the festival, so you know they're gaining more and more popularity and more connections. So it's now become a very good utopian society, you know, TSIPF, that's been created. And I think that's what I'm most proud of, that's what's happening. We don't put emphasis right on just the ability to play notes fast, because you know, piano world is so much more than that.
Could you tell me about the significance of having the festival here in Seoul, and what does it mean to you?
It means a lot, just because we are over here, and it took a lot of work to get here, and it took a lot of work while we were here. The part about this that I'm most proud of is it's successful, and we've done a very good job, everyone. I've always said our team is like a big Jenga puzzle. If one of us fails, the thing can crumble down. Specifically here in Seoul, all the faculty and the students have been exposed to some legendary professors in this hemisphere, in this country, that is still very recognized. Also, we got to see why things are a little bit different, and what's making, you know, Korea one of the world powerhouses in piano for the past, you know, couple of decades. So we got a lot of exposure to that. Also, the other thing that I'm really happy with is we realized that the piano world is much smaller than we think. So even last night, we're having some faculty members having dinner with the legendary professor, Soo Shin. We were over at her house, and the conversation started, and it's like we all knew each other. For instance, Professor Shin's top student, also on our faculty, Angela Choi's teacher over at Indiana University South Bend, the great Toratse. Toratse's teacher was also our faculty member Steven Spooner's teacher. Little things like that, that's just making things very interesting. I have a lot of connection to the faculty members over here. The biggest one is the fact that Marina Lomosov and I were in the studio together, you know, way back in the early 90s. So seeing that connection happen, although we crossed the Pacific pond, it exists still with everybody. So that's wonderful to see. Yet we got exposed to a lot of the differences in how they do things. We got exposed to that. So I have made it a point to say that we're going to come out of this much better, because we're going to get much more exposure.
Could you share some of the unique challenges that you faced, and not just you, but the entire team faced in bringing the festival to fruition here in Seoul?
Absolutely. So we have our core team members, which is myself, our program director, Dr. Sung Park, and we got head of the dormitories, Miss Mandy Facenda. We are pretty much experts in everything that we were doing in San Marcos, but we all three knew coming in here, there's several unknowns. First of all, if I can talk about just the practical things, none of us have cars, and that was a valuable thing. Our credit card's going to work. We make sure that everything is done. Our kids are going to be accepting to food. How much walking is there going to be? We can sort of predict the weather in San Marcos, Texas, because we've gone through that. What's it going to be like here? That was very different. And more, like, are we going to have complete control of the cafeteria? Or is the language barrier going to get in the way? And there's been challenges throughout, but there hasn't been a challenge that the team could not handle. I mean, we went into this, and even my opening address at the inauguration, I talked about like expect the unexpected and embrace the unknown. And those were the two messages. And those two things that I've been saying, we got exposed to several times throughout this entire time. Also, we weren't so aware of the campus, and I can say our team, the way they navigated various things. When we got here, we didn't know that lunches were not served on the weekends. We had to fix all of those, but our team expertly managed everything through. And the thing I can tell you with 3 days left, the faculty and the students have said this is incredibly well organized. They don't know what's behind the scenes, but that's one of the best compliments that they can give us. So I'm very proud of that. I'm extremely proud of our team. This is our greatest accomplishment ever.
Could you tell me a little bit about this year's guest artists and faculty?
Oh, sure. So there were a few people that's normally on our, roster that could not make the trip. And none of this is their fault. We decided to host this a little bit later than our normal time just because we had to work with this Korean school system and their dates. So people who couldn't join us, Professor Boris Slutsky, because he had to go back to China in August, and it's very difficult to make this trip twice in one summer. Professor Anton Nell, who's always been a big fan of ours, but he had to stick to his schedule that he already agreed to in San Diego and in Aspen. Professor Julian Martin gave it a very good attempt, but he already had some obligations over at Banff. And Professor Michelle Can, who was so ready to go, but 2 weeks ago, she delivered her first child. So we said, okay, But the people that we did have, Professor Andrei Ponochevny, who gave our opening concert in the all-rock program, which was spectacular. Professor Stephen Spooner, Professor Piano over at Peabody, came over and delivered an excellent recital despite the fact that he was sick. And my heart really melted when he sat down at the piano despite all these struggles. The day before, he had to be stopped at quarantine at the airport because he had a temperature. And right before he played his first note of Scarlatti, he coughed. And then I just couldn't help but get a little emotional because, wow, what dedication. And tomorrow night, we're going to be enjoying the very popular Marina Lomazov and Joseph Rackers, both professors of piano at Eastman School of Music, to their their four-hand piano recital, which we're all looking forward to. So those are the three guest artist recitals we have. Professor Soo-Jung Shin, who did a wonderful couple of days of residency. We have Professor Young-Mi Choi, who is our connection to this university. We have Professor So-Young Choi, who served as our associate director this year, who's been wonderful with all the connections. We had our normal people, Professor Enrico Lisi, who's been here since year 2. Of course, Washington Garcia, who's been here from the very beginning. In fact, Washington Garcia and myself, we're the only 2 left that have been to all 15. Professor Hejong Hong and Wei Han Su, if you don't know their names, you really should. They took over the piano department at Missouri State University, I think around 15 years ago, and they built that place up to a juggernaut. So they're really the epitome of what lots of departments want to try to do. Some Korean professors to also mention is Professor Haejun Lee over from Sukmyeong Women's University, and Professor Chung Pyo Lim, who is a retired professor from Hanyang University. Legendary names already. The 2 very important professors that I would like to mention is Dr. Martin Kasuma and Dr. Sung-Won Park, who are on our team in a leadership way. They're no longer that young. They've gotten older and they know how this works, but the level of maturity and the level of benefits that they provided for the students, very inspiring. We also brought our over 10-year resident conductor, Dr. Stephen Sanders, to conduct the finale concert. We're very excited about that. And as usual, we have a selected rising faculty star, Dr. Mia Haeun Kim. And the position of rising faculty star, we provide for a student, and we only have 2 criteria. Well, it's actually 3 criteria. Number 1, they have to be a former festival participant. Number 2, they have to have an earned degree or earned doctorate degree. Third one, which is the most important, is we have to like them. And this goes back to that original point, like, we want good people. just your name and your accomplishments is not enough. You have to fit into our synergy. So we're happy to have that. I think I've included everybody now. So, and we have our new colleague at Texas State University, Dr. Paul Sánchez, who's taking on this incredible project of not only teaching, but to socialize, and he's documenting this entire project through his own eyes, which we're very happy about. So I think that's everybody.
What do you hope that these students carry forward with them from this experience? Because I think all of us as young artists, we had these experiences that were formative and that we never leave them behind. For example, you and Steven Spooner met as students at a summer festival. What do you hope the students carry forward? What do you hope that the faculty carry forward?
The overall legacy is Texas State International Piano Festival made a difference in their lives. It gave them a perspective of seeing things that's different from your normal, how do you play fast notes on the piano? Because we need it, and that's what's important to build that bigger community. So the legacy would be to build a bigger and better community for the next generation. We have plenty of student recitals. We had this monumental competition that took place, and on the final day, which we're very happy to say is sold out, we're going to have a concert with the Seoul Philharmonia with the 6 winners of our concerto competition, and we're going to be exposing Texas State International Piano Festival in a whole new way. We've been, marketed throughout the radio waves here for about a week, and people have responded by, selling out the concert. So that's something we're very proud of as well.
15th anniversary this year. So look ahead, 20th anniversary. What's on the horizon? What are, I know you probably can't give me specifics, but what's in your mind?
I can't give you the specifics, but I can tell you throughout this 15 years, what's evolved is we found our identity. Before everybody goes in with a general idea of who they are. It's just like all of us when we're younger. We say, we're gonna be a pianist. What the heck does that mean? I'm gonna be a pianist. That works in all different levels. So I can tell you what's on the horizon is as we continuously discover ourselves and who we are in this world, we're going to see what else we can do to make this world very different. I can tell you the difference between the 10th year and the 15th year is very drastic. Difference between the 5th year and the 10th year is extremely drastic. So it's going to be different on the 20th. I can't tell you specifically what's happening. We're going to review this huge project we took up, taking this to an international campus. Is that on the horizon? I don't know. We haven't stepped foot in Europe yet, maybe. We'll see, but please be on the lookout.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you. And cut.